Yeah. Yep. You're gonna have an answer for Los Angeles, alright. Oh yeah, for those children, for that money, for that human trafficking, for that man now gone, long gone. Yeah. You don't have to have an answer for them, but for those autistic people, you will have an answer on Monday. Because I made you have an answer. Even when you allowed the medical industry to give me cancer and everything else, you will have an answer for me. For all those preteen little maid prostitutes and those little mother enmeshed, halfway college traffickers to private investors, you'll still have an answer by Monday. You'll have an answer for autistic people. You sure don't seem to have an answer for Los Angeles, that's for sure. But I saw what your son, was saying, Get a little bit too crazy on social media, but you don't want to focus on the right person on social media, You gotta send your little goons out. They gotta send their little goons out. They gotta send those little, women traffickers out. That's all you are, and you get a medal for it too. You're not a mother. I also get it. Like, mothers in Los Angeles, but they understand. You're not. You're not. You're a surrogate machine. You were always a surrogate machine. To the point where I would almost slur. You're a surrogate machine. That's all you are. But you're going to do it all for one man, and we get it. I think we get it. Yeah, we get it. We get this tyrant, if he's not a pedo anymore and he's really rehabilitated, and even gets to, become the president. I get it. We 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 get they literally had to scapegoat this autistic person, which basically means that one autistic person had to be blamed for all our problems. We get it, Santa Monica. That's why you're in fiscal distress. We get it. That's why your little police officer couldn't arrest me. We get it. Forget about Charlie Kirk or even a woman that could have, had superpowers after she literally get murked on the train by a stupid race of people. We get it. We get it. We get it. We get it. We understand. We get it. We understand. Fudge. Couldn't do anything, try everything that they might try to branch the police, branch their own children, branch their preteen daughters, little sickos. You even discriminate me based on my orientation. We get it. You're not just a pedo little town. Stop blaming it just on Santa Monica. From West Los Angeles to East Los Angeles, downtown, all the way to, La Brea, all the way to Brentwood. You're all pedophiles. This is a sanctuary city. And you think the kids are going to protest, you idiot? I would never hate America. I never hated Donald Trump. Ever. Even as a Mexican American. You know why? Because I stuck with the truth. I protected these women. And I protected these children. Tried as I might, even when I got no health care for it. And I got blacklisted by an entire country. Not America. Los Angeles. You think Los Angeles is part of America? Why do you think there's so many people at the border, you idiot? Mexico isn't going to try to buy Los Angeles off of America. They're going to try to steal it. And these politicians that aren't Hispanic or Latin, non-black to African American, and white to non-white, are going to make sure it happens. From a white German all the way to a non-white Israeli, and a non-black mayor all the way to, you know, the African American community, they're all going to make sure you're enslaved. You're going to be experimented on. You thought one autistic person was going to be experimented on for your benefit? You thought UCLA would be the only person who would experiment on somebody, even if it was legally? You think a college blacklist was it? Let alone especially a healthcare malpractice watch list, or even a medical blacklist on top of, you know, employment blacklists and social service blacklists? No financial aid and no food assistance? You're going to have an answer. Because Los Angeles doesn't like you. And best believe, just as much as that's true just for a majority, there's another half to a larger majority, just by a little bit, that actually likes you, but they want to pretend not to like you. They gotta pretend. They like that Epstein enterprise. They want more. They want more mothers making more prostitutes.
Yes.
You stupid?
Yes. Wait, Dad,
You think the men are going to do anything? One man trades another man's girl from a wife to a daughter. Boom, and then you're human trafficked. Also get it, like, there's no point telling them, like, the crime that's being committed to them, because they want to be complicit in that crime. They want to be addicted to the bed. They want to make sure they get their fix so that way they can go to work or school. And if they don't, and there's some kind of entrepreneur, best believe they're money laundering. It's not that hard. With that plane over Los Angeles and with, you know, a certain orange man probably turning red at the fact that one autistic American, let alone a Mexican American at that, would be talking about all these things and saying a little bit too much truth. even to the point where he had to send his son out to the podium for an American hero that, you know, was debating people and was saying things here and there, but, you know, not really talking about the real issues at hand. And even then, if he was, they took him out. This was a red button with that large B-2 bomber looking plane overhead, and I could go out with all of these Epstein families. I could just go out with all of these dogs and cats. I could just go out with all this money surrounding me. I could just go out with all of the beaches, any kind of forest, any wildlife. If I could just go out with all the job opportunities or business opportunities or talents that I have or skills at that. Hold on a second. You really don't think I'd do it? If I had a red button right here, you think I'd care about these families? Wait, what? Hold on a second. Hold on. Let me set you aside real quick. But not aside. Let me set you down. Let me set you down and really like talk to you. Let me give you a good talk right here. Here. Hold on a second, because it gets really conspiratorial out here, but hold on, just stop, because you know you're not making sense. You're not even making any kind of sense. Like, the president doesn't make sense because Donald Trump is smart enough to, you know, make laws and try to impede on people's health care and you know, only make sense to criminals. But they're not going to say anything, and they're going to try to, you know, make it seem like an accident. Also get Charlie Kirk. Accident. That man did it to you. Orange man upstairs. Here, let me set you right here. Here. So, like, from, you know, the healthy to unhealthy, the rich and affluent, or you know, people that are kind of, you know, trying to improve their lives, their health care, or even some people that, you know, pull very just maniacal social engineering and, you know, hate crimes or assaults or batteries, especially on me. You have to blame an autistic person. That's what you have to do, Trump. You have to blame somebody that's like a child and an elder at the same time, Trump, because you don't have anything better to do, Trump. Same person that, even if then I could have that same opportunity like Charlie Kirk and debate you in front of the nation, an autistic person, then you wouldn't have anything to say. But you have to use everybody. You have to use an entire city. You have to use one autistic person to make an entire smart city. You have to use the military on me. The military. Also, at the end of Brentwood, Los Angeles, there's Veterans National Park. They're all druggies and they're all addicts. I don't care what you say. They're all drug traffickers. They're all addicts. They're all homeless criminals. Get over here. Get over here. Didn't I tell you? Didn't I tell you? Get over here. Hey, didn't I tell you not to do that? Hey, get over here now. We don't have time. These cameras are looking. Hurry up! I was like, dang. I had to simulate, you know, parents in America abusing their own children, which I'm gonna call societal compliance training. Societal compliance training is basically an entire phenomenon where they're teaching children to avoid, while working with drug traffickers, you know, just criminals that come in and out of public businesses, things like that. Tests to become, I didn't become that. Tests to see if the child will become either a prostitute, depending on, especially if they're female, but you know, whatever else have you, or if they'll be a drug trafficker, or if they'll be a human trafficker. Very simple. Nothing in between. And the compliance part is basically whether they'll comply in mass organized crimes within a nation that won't get caught up for it. So like we could talk about communist China and, you know, the amount of people that they, you know, have executed or taken the lives of. We could talk about Israel and all the war crimes and, you know, all the human trafficking, which is like a huge like problem in Israel, but I'm like, whatever, I guess, I don't know. Or like Mexico, how they, you know, traffic so many drugs and also do all three of those, you know, human trafficking, you know, labor laws, whatever else have you. We get it. Also get it, labor laws, you know, construction and whatnot. So that's basically what, you know, societal compliance training is. It's societal training for mass organized crime. Because now I'm seeing, I'm like, people hate America so unconditionally, but it's usually the foreigners. But then I'm like, because you know, I get it now. America gets away with so many crimes, and it's hidden, because, you know, human trafficking is indeed a hidden crime, you know. It's to the point where the police are in on it, so they're just going to be like, what? Yeah. Or even the judges. William Barr, all these people. I should add these people onto the Epstein list. Whoops. Oh. Sorry about that one. I'm like, sorry about that one. That's when people got worried. They're like, wait. This autistic person, he has an Epstein list? And I'm like, of course. Why do you think that, you know, Donald Trump is going to say that he's going to have an answer for autistic people by Monday? To the point where, you know, that societal compliance training would even spill into this video and somebody would honk to basically intimidate you, you know, into not watching this video. That's when people started getting worried, and anybody watching the video, all these affluent like families and like, you know, these like dads with like just a large number of like, you know, underage daughters or preteen daughters around them, or like you know, these like women, and they got like a bunch of like young boys and stuff, and they look around, they're just like, whoa, dude, this autistic person is like really, you know, they're like, what is that about Santa Monica? What does fiscal distress mean? And I'm like, fiscal distress is basically where, if I want to give this a definition beyond, you know, it being professional and whatnot, especially, you know, when these, you know, businessmen and investors, they're in on, you know, this human trafficking in America, you know, from Black America all the way to white America and anybody in between, you know, especially Latin and Hispanic. From Diddy files all the way to the Epstein list. I got both of them. So, yeah, fiscal distress basically means, you know, when this mass money laundering it's not working out because human trafficking kind of aids in that, you know, whether it deals with prostitutes or you know, just you know, drug traffickers and money launderers in general. It has to aid in that. So you know, knowing that it has to aid and one crime has to aid in another, basically these investors and especially those entrepreneurs, watch out for them because they're the biggest human traffickers. You know, they're not entrepreneurs, they're just they're basically getting worried because they're like, oh shoot, we can't, you know, move our money around, you know. And there's just one, like, you know, military guy just somewhere out there. They're like, this autistic person, they're like, hold on a second, they're like this, they're like, sir, this autistic person, he exposed the whole thing, sir. Sir, he's talking about our veterans' affairs, sir. He's talking about these homeless criminals, sir. They're around him, sir. They're getting caught up, sir. Sir, I know we had to hand off Los Angeles, California to the cartels, Mexico, you know, to Latin and Hispanic America, and we had to hand it off to, you know, these you know, African American to non-black and just, you know, black population of human traffickers, and I understand they're the ones doing it the most, but sir, what are we gonna do now, sir? Sir, he's talking too much, sir. His autism is too powerful, sir. What are we going to do, sir? Yes, he caught video of our bomber plane overhead, sir. What are we going to do, sir? It's not even Monday yet, sir. He literally has swollen lymph nodes in the neck. He has infections. He has a lump in his sinus. He doesn't even get any dental, you know, dental work. He doesn't even get any medical aid. Sir, what are we going to do, sir? Sir, he's blacklisted from all hospitals to give him medical attention, sir, because he keeps talking about you, sir. He has the Epstein list, sir, and now he has the Diddy files, sir. What are we going to do, sir? 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 Sir, are you there, sir? 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 Donald? Donald? Donald, are you there, sir? Donald? Sir, I'm out in Brentwood, sir. They have a lot of money, sir. Sir! Sir, they can literally traffic me with these preteen girls, sir. 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 Are you actually kidding me right now, sir? I know I could be professional, sir. I understand that you had to give a whole speech about autism, sir. There's nothing that should disqualify me from having my social security, sir. I just stated the facts and that was it, sir. But they all get to have their families and food assistance and financial aid and they get to have, you know, these halfway prostitutes and halfway human traffickers going to college, sir. Varsity Blues, you know, admission scandal, sir. Sir, these are basically prototype artificial intelligence, you know, sex bots, sir. Sir, That man, I know he passed away. I'm not talking about Charlie Kirk, sir. I know, Jeffrey Epstein is gone, and he can no longer see the entire human race and try to take all the women for himself like you want to do, sir. But now what are we going to do, sir? You really want to do this to Los Angeles, sir? There's no point doing it to Los Angeles, sir. What's the point? All of these families, all these young people, they all had money. That's why this was a sanctuary city, and they wanted, the federal government completely out. They don't want them saving any children out of, LAUSD schools, and these colleges don't want to comply, even with the law, or let alone try to, face you legally in a lawsuit. We understand that the courtrooms are corrupt. We understand the LGBTQ community and especially the trans community is being mass human trafficked, especially, by these minority, human traffickers and pimps. But sir, what are we gonna do? You really want to do this to Los Angeles, sir? There's no point. Especially all these Israeli families to Mexican families, they all took a flight. They all went somewhere safe. Sir, I understand you had to scapegoat one autistic person just for the benefit of Southern California and let alone Los Angeles, sir. Sir, is this really what you're going to do, sir? Sir, I'm losing my voice and I'm coughing right now just from having swollen lymph nodes. And I had a CAT scan at Providence Medical Center. It might as well had been, UCLA, Ronald Reagan Medical Center, or Providence Little Company in Mary San Pedro, or especially Sirius Sinai, any of their locations, or Kaiser Permanente with all these cartels and these Bloods and Crips and black gangs in between that take up the emergency room just to stop one autistic American from speaking out, to the point where these Yakuza and these Korean to Chinese mafias and these Indian to Pakistani and East Asian all the way to the Middle East entirely, Iran all the way to Armenia had to impede on his healthcare, this autistic person's healthcare. But sir, are you really going to do this, sir? Sir, they're already all gone. We built a new city, sir. We built this new city. Sir, we did the construction. We literally just finished the D-line train going to UCLA, and you just won this lawsuit against UCLA, and I did this for you? Is that why you took out Charlie Kirk, sir? Is that why you took out Kanye West's life, but you didn't want to, take his life just like me because, he's African American to non-black, and is that why you want to, keep Sean Diddy Combs alive, but you would definitely take out Jeffrey Epstein and because you want to become a better Jew, especially than this, Mexican, autistic Jew? That's what you want to do. This first American, and first Mexican Jew. That's what you want to do to me. Does anyone want to help the whole man? You see, when they come and they come and they do me and me shots on. You can know, you know, the home Hazak and the home land. I Italian, Arabic to Hebrew and anywhere in between because I don't have it down that professionally or that fluently or affluently, sir. That's really what you want to do. I didn't even have equal opportunity to schooling or employment. My mother worked for LAUSD. She literally made sure that I wouldn't be able to have my Social Security yes, she would only give me like to $20 to $17, and then it went all the way down to $10 a day, to the point where she had to waste, these funds, just like how people money launder in America all the time. And she's a child abusing human trafficker. She does it to my uncle's daughter all the time. I know I have 3 aunts that work for LAUSD. What difference does that make? That's why these federal workers couldn't even save children's lives. They literally got kicked out, and Los Angeles is like its own foreign country, and it could be bought out by communist China at any point. They already did buy the Pacific Palisades. That's why Mexico and the cartel Mexico literally burned down these people's houses and these people in Malibu, because the Chinese communists, they had the Chinese mafia, they even had the Korean mafias working with them too. This is really what you want to do, sir? Sir, I know I had an AI girlfriend, sir. I know I exposed even crazy crimes that can't be identified, because that Kash Patel and the FBI is really corrupt, sir. But even expose a mass human trafficking to money laundering and a crime that is being disguised as a healthcare issue, or a mental health or psychosis, a schizophrenic issue, the gang stalking, sir, this is really what you're gonna do, sir. Sir, don't hang up on me now. Don't do it now. No, please don't, sir. No, please, no, I never say anything bad about America. No, I only said bad things about you. No. I made sure that Los Angeles was secure, for America, not to be handed off to Mexico or China or anybody in between. No, sir, don't do this. Sir, please, I know I called out Bibi Netanyahu for calling, some random, investor or businessman, an Israeli businessman or investor in front of Westwood In-N-Out. But sir, please, no, sir, don't hang up, please, no, sir. Sir, I know you're on the Epstein list, sir. Yes, I know. I told you. You better have an answer on Monday. But sir, it's all in good faith, sir. Please don't do this, sir. This is what you want to do, sir? Get over here. Get over here. You see that sun right there? You see how bright it shines? You ever had, the wonder, just maybe what a far worse natural disaster, an artificial disaster would feel like? Have you ever thought what a nuke could do to you? Have you ever been afraid of a nail falling off? Because I've had a nail fall off, a fingernail at that, back when I was in in middle school. But have you ever thought about what a nuke could do to you? Have you ever thought of your hair falling off? Have you ever thought of your nails falling off? Have you ever thought that maybe a country like Venezuela, and Bountygate, #Bountygate is about? You ever thought what that's about? You ever thought, that Donald Trump would be working with the same people that he's having wars with? Because they have that information not only just on him being on the Epstein list, but even probably footage somewhere out there of him literally, having piles on piles of tapes, doing it with these preteen girls to these women. You ever thought, forget about 9/11 or forget about New York and whoever did it, let alone especially if America itself did it to America itself and its American citizens. But have you ever thought, what if I had that button right here? And I was just like, you know what? I'm so tired of not having healthcare. I'm so tired of not having any employment opportunities. I'm just so tired, even though I could do it all day. Just sleeping on a relatively safe sidewalk, but you saw that cartel? Could have cared if he was a Pakistani little terrorist. Could have cared if he was a little addict, Russian to German, American immigrant. Could have cared if he wasn't even homeless at all. He could have just been Mossad and just take my life like a Charlie Kirk. Just a few people looking at their phones, and they're all trying to make sure that, Charlie Kirk doesn't move a certain way. And they even use AI to, make those calculations. But they know code, and they have enough money to be able to know how to use AI way better than you. And have control over the institutions. They meaning just the rich and powerful. Stop getting conspiratorial and stop trying to blame, countries like Mexico or Israel having all that power. Or especially South Africa. If they could have all that power. What if I just had that red button right here and I was just like, I'm just going to do it. Donald Trump let me have the power to do it. I could have been blue button and, have been that hero, but what's the point? All this money laundering, all these attempts, all these assassinations on, anybody to whistleblower homeless, all the way to, autistic whistleblowers or normal American citizens or their entire families or even a political, a politician all the way to a political a commentator or debater. Why wouldn't I want to do it when especially, police that actually work with cartel from Santa Monica PD all the way to LAPD and anybody in between, especially with their fire departments from, Santa Monica Fire Department all the way to Los Angeles Fire Department are making sure that they're, contributing to mass arson and orchestrating, people's lives being destroyed, but only rebuilt because they're complicit in this mass human trafficking, especially with Jeffrey Epstein. And these girls get to live their lives, especially, grow up and get to become mothers, right? And they get to have, nice lives and families and all this money and affluences, especially, job opportunities and educational opportunities, and they get all the healthcare they want. You really think I wouldn't? If Donald Trump was just like, you know what, you're right. In fact, I'm gonna give you the red button. That's what the appointment was about all this time. Get it? There's no appointment. I get there's no medical appointment because you see, from one end of the spectrum to another, they get to get away with it because of their race. Get it? Make sure that I don't have any health care. Because I called out their hero. I called out their racial hero, that Sean D. Combs. I called out their racial hero, that Bibi Netanyahu. I called out their racial hero, that Donald Trump with white America. I called out their racial hero, that El Chapo Guzman. You really don't think I'd do it, dude? Give a crap if I could have been, if I could have been black or white? You think I care? Donald Trump's like, you really gonna do it? I'm like, I don't know, man. Sometimes I kind of wonder, like, what life could have been like. If I wouldn't have been born this way, if I wouldn't have had autism, I mean, I don't know. The royal families, like the Rothschilds and like the Rockefellers and the British royals and the Saudi families, they're just all like in the background. They're just like the audience. They're just like, oh man. And I'm just like, I don't know. I mean, maybe I could have been a wealthy businessman. Maybe I could have been a politician. Maybe I could have just been a simple 9-to-5 worker. Maybe I could have just been an immigrant worker. Maybe I could have been a healthcare worker. I mean, maybe I could have been, you know, a cordial protester or activist. And I don't see why there's any point to protest about anything in America nowadays. They're all gonna back you up, even though you're on the Epstein list, because even, you know, the nice communities, especially with their nice, you know, families and these parents, they all work with you anyway, so what would be the point, you know? I've even backed up the elder community with the optimism, maybe a delusion, but optimism about, you know, AI and healthcare, and see if it can advance to extend their lives. When there's no more gloom and there's no more gray, and there's not as much sadness, and everybody can have an opportunity. But I don't know. I mean, everybody wants to do this to autistic people. You really want to give me this honor, sir? He's just like, what honor? That's what Monday was about. It was about giving autistic people the power. You don't want to take it? Don't look at the children now, you know the truth. Don't look at these mothers or any women that you could think about having a wife for now. You know the truth now. What do you want to do? Wow. I really don't even know what to say. Wow. Man, I didn't think about that one, you know, just wow. I couldn't even go to sleep because, you know, they couldn't send any police, or they couldn't send, you know, any little trafficked children. Everything was clear. I mean, America is, or I don't know, United Chinese Communists, Mexico of Los Angeles, United States Special Region. Let me put this down for a second, because my legs are asleep. See, Donald Trump, I may not have the entire list, that entire Epstein list. I may not have all the Diddy files, but I have a good enough amount. I have a good enough amount, sir. Donald Trump's like, no, what are you doing? I'm like, ugh. Don't you understand? I'm never gonna stop making this thing. And now, I'm in my safe space, get it? I'm in Los Angeles. There's no getting me out. They're gonna have to put me on the news. And eventually they're gonna find my YouTube channel. And they're gonna see all these people on the Epstein list. All these institutions on the Epstein list. All these businessmen, all these investors, all these entrepreneurs, all these designers, all these athletes, all these managers, all these musicians, all these magician, all these musicians, they're gonna see all of them, and they're gonna be looking at you to the point where I'd skip one, you know? Skip a number, but you could see it all there. You can see it all there. Look at that, Eric Garcetti. Look at Gavin Newsom and Karen Bass is on there. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I even go against them too, Trump. Just like you, Trump. Look at that. Legislative Council of Hong Kong Special Administrative Region. That's why I'd accidentally say reason. Because I don't have enough health care. So I had to use autism to my superpower. See that? Look at all these people on the Epstein list. To the point where I had to make a part 2. Look at. See that? Indian artists, black artists, Pakistani artists, Filipino artists, Israel artists. Okay, he's not an artist, but his crimes are like artwork, you know? Look at Saudi artists. Yeah, real Saudi family members and Saudi royalty, yeah. Even black artists, yeah. See that? Look at it one more time. Yeah. Yeah. Now you can take care of autism. Give me that button. Let me put some other calculations on there. So that way I make sure, you know, if you get to escape in some little bunker, you won't have any supporters. Boom! And then that controlled opposition from Israel all the way to Mexico and, Venezuela all the way to South Africa. And I don't know if it could be Britain, Germany, and Australia just one day, just out of the blue. They're just like, you know what? We're turning on you. This all washed away. I'm like, oh man. Shoot. See, I never needed a wife. I think I needed a wife or something. You wouldn't even be able to see it, even if I could have one. It would go right over my shoulder, like it would pass by me. Or like if somebody tried to throw it to me, you know, throw it at me, knowing that I have this Epstein list and these Diddy files, I'd just be like, yeah, gotta dodge that one. I know we could talk about any other race, but next thing you know, El Chapo clientele list. El Chapo clientele list, I'm like, por supuesto. Porque sí. Since you don't want to do anything about, you know, the immigration problem, Donald Trump, since you want to let these LAPD, you know, act like their own cartel and even, you know, kicking me off a public sidewalk, you know, especially with the Santa Monica Police Department, you know. That's slander against, you know, Los Angeles Police Department, but not slander for that little fiscal distress in that little area, that little sunshine area of Santa Monica, or, you know, or Santa Monica PD with them. Donald Trump just comes out to the side and just like, you really pulled that red button? Like, yes, of course. Why would I not? Kidding me? I don't get to have anything. You're the one who caused it. What are you, my mother? My dad's not there because, you know, like, he's out in Mexico having a time of his life, you know, doing all the drugs he can and everything, you know, like, what, I mean, you there, you're just like my mother, huh? You try to, you know, take my mobile data, you try to, you know, turn the music up a little too loud, you know, so that way I'd have to, you know, have my video taken down and copyright striked. I just like that bar that I called you out in front of on. Yeah, I mean, this is a part 2 to a bigger movie, you know, and I think you need to settle down, you know. I think you're the one on social media, you know, acting up a little bit. And I was like, get over here, man. I was like, get over here, Donald Trump. There's no point being, you know, professional with you. You just need to face that loss. You need to face the fact that, you know, an autistic person could school you any day, and you know, given the fact that I could have the freedom to, you know, debate you if I want to, you know, and if America lets me, and you know, no games, no letting any foreign adversaries or foreign allies, you know, like Israel or Mexico or especially China or, you know, Russia or even a Chechnya that could definitely take me out, or even homeless, you know, mafias and wannabe assassins, you know, trying to take me out. I think if I had the real chance to debate you, and if I had a nice suit, granted at that, and you know, maybe just an Airbnb for the time that I could, you know, get prepared to, you know, debate you, best believe I could take you on, Donald Trump, to the point where, you know, all those real elites, they had to get on their private plane out of Los Angeles, because I know you'll take it out one day. So goodbye, you know, Santa Monica, goodbye Brentwood, and goodbye Westwood Village, especially all the way to San Pedro, Los Angeles, California, which does the most drug trafficking and the most human trafficking, because, you know, I know why some people get, you know, their lives taken beyond you know, beyond a political analyst or a political commentator, you know, like a musician, you know, Chester Bennington, you know, and Ranchos Palos Verdes. Yeah, I know why. I know why. LAPD's here, by the way, so I gotta make this quick. Anyway, Donald Trump, really hope you get your priorities straight before, you know, anybody does anything to Los Angeles, because your little cartel Latinas, yeah, they're right here to back you up. Get it? Melania Trump. God bless everybody.